Well, hello, I'm Joel Annesley, and welcome to yet another Gen Happy Hour. And today I'm joined on the line by the ever so fabulous, I should have a drum roll here, the Michael Leedy. How are you
Oh,
today,
oh
Michael?
my goodness, Joel. I'm pretty good. I'm starving. And I have this thing on my head today.
Oh, you poor thing. Oh, you look like you're in a call center.
I know. I almost feel like I should put my aviator sunglasses on or something. Like I should be in a cockpit.
Yep,
Like
yep.
we have
Oh, that
lots of
would
plays
totally
on
work.
words today.
Totally work. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so what are we talking about today? What's going on?
Oh my gosh, Joel. We're gonna follow up with last week. We were talking about what. So,
Mhm.
what you can do, what people can do, to take themselves to the next level. And why not start now if they're going to start doing it? But a lot of people don't know what they can do, the things they enjoy, the things they love to do, and they don't know how to tap into it. So we're going to kind of give them some options and things and ideas to get them started.
It sounds exciting. All right, so I'm taking the lead today.
Yes.
All right, all right. So I'm just gonna start now. So yeah, pretty much just to give you a brief recap, as Michael said, we started with the why because it's important to start there. Figure to start with your why will help you figure out your what. So sorry, I'm just clearing my throat. I've just been rushing and eating my lunch, and but anyway, uh, crazy day. Figuring out your why is very important because it really does influence the what. And so I think it's important to revisit the why quite regularly. And I suppose what the question I wanted to ask you was, how did you go with the homework? Did you have a go? What layers of your why have you discovered to date? And one point that I really wanted to make was the discovering your why is not an overnight process. It can take some time, and I think it's an evolving process. I find I'm discovering new whys all the time. So jotting that stuff down is so important. So yeah, keep revisiting that. And if you haven't already done those exercises, go back and do them now. I'm looking at you. This is about accountability. So, all right. Then we started to talk about the what, and we spoke about the time versus money challenge that a lot of us happen. We're figuring out where we are on the scale of things, and we introduced this idea of active versus passive income. So, and of course, we all want more passive income. And Michael spoke about harnessing our natural talents and, converting that into, different opportunities to put more dollars in our bank account. And he also mentioned about uncovering the learning curve ahead, and he will be recapping that shortly, I believe. Knowing, the unconscious competence and that yeah. So I'll let Michael talk about that shortly. But today I wanted to, and I'm going to actually share my screen here. Let's just go play. Hang on. Multiple windows.
You're
I'm just going
looking quite snappy in that shirt today, by the way. I'm like,
to
look, I don't.
um, and you're looking quite the pilot there. Hey,
I really should put my aviators on. I think it would make them
you
look
totally should.
so much
All right,
nicer.
I'm sharing my screen.
Do 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 do. Do they have Australia or do they have Jeopardy in Australia?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's
Do they have
it's
to
not
do it
one of
with?
my favorites, but
I always
I'll,
fail at it. I can't play that game. I'm better at Wheel of Fortune.
yeah, yeah, totally.
I
All
can
right,
see your
so
screen.
you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Is it full screen?
Well, I mean, as full as it gets on Google.
Okay, cool. All right. Oh yeah, yep. Okay, so I'm gonna play the slideshow. Here we go. So today, my friend, it's all about different ideas, and look, this is really just a taster. It's to give you.
Wait, Joel, I can't see it now. It's black.
You can't see it?
No, I could before. Then you hit play and it disappeared. There it is.
All right. Okay, so I know what I did. And I'm just going to switch back to this, and I'm going to change the setting. Stop. And I'm going to screen share.
Hello.
Entire screen. Okay, we should be good. Technical difficulties.
No.
Done.
Oh, now that's it right there.
That's better. Okay, all right.
Go ahead.
So today it is all about the ideas, and you know, this is just to spark a few thoughts for you, just to think about, if you're not currently in a business, what could you potentially do? Or you know, looking at that time versus money balance, what can you actually commit to at the moment? So this is going to give you some more of an understanding of the types of different businesses out there that you could potentially join. And then I'm going to hand over to Michael, who's going to give you some real life examples. So, and that's going to give you an idea of like actual, you know, money investment. Like, for example, I think he talks about a coffee shop. So I'll let him talk about that soon. But we're going to start off with this idea of, do you want to create your own, or do you want to join? And I want to link this back to your overall why. Think about your why. Do you want to create your own brand or your own image, or do you want to join an existing business? And I think this is very much a mindset thing, because many of us, you know, some of us, if we've got that creative brain, we're just like, there's no way I want to take on somebody else's idea. I want to, you know, I want to run with my own branding and my own image, and you know, I live off that stuff. You know, I'm a bit like that. But some of us are like, oh my God, that's too much effort, too much work. Just give me something that's proven, that works, and I'll just copy that. You know, like copy a model, an existing model. If that's you, that's also another idea. So think about, when I'm going through this, do you want to create your own or join? So, and once you have more clarity over that, it will definitely help you further. So the first one is a franchise. And this is more so looking at if you're wanting to copy an existing model, as we were just saying. You've got three different types of franchises. So you've got a business franchise, a product franchise, and a manufacturing franchise. So basically means you're copying, you know, the entire business model. It might be, the best example here is our fast food chains. So like McDonald's, hang on, I was going to say Hungry Jack's, but you call it Burger King, is that right?
You call it Hungry Jack's?
Yes. We call it Hungry Jack's. I don't know. We're special for some reason. We call it Hungry Jack's.
Huh. And it says Hungry Jack's on the signage?
Yep. It's the same logo, but it's it's pretty much exactly the same thing, just a different name.
And you have a Whopper?
Yeah, we've got a Whopper.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then it's called Burger King.
Yep. So there you go. So that fast food chain is your perfect example there of a buy off the shelf business, a proven model, proven figures, but you know, obviously you're going to have the capital outlay. Franchising products is where you basically have a license to sell, you know, big name products, and then you can sort of have your own store, and you can have a limit of, I suppose you've got more flexibility around your own brand. And obviously to manufacture means that you're given the ability to manufacture an existing product. So it is very much a, you know, buying a done for you solution, and you just copy that model and you just repeat it. And, you know, it does have its advantages, because it's taking the guesswork out of the business model. It's just like, you know, show me the money. Not really, you know, there is definitely still a lot of work involved in setting something up like this. And, you know, there are disadvantages too, because you do have quite high startup cost. And there are limitations because you're having to follow quite a strict model, all the way down to your marketing, you know. And so an interesting model to consider. It's not personally a model that I'm interested in going down that path, but I thought it would be worth mentioning. And the next would be the opposite side of this, is where it's got you basically got your branded local business. So where you're actually creating something from scratch, you know, a product or a service-based business, but you have a physical presence. And so the overall advantage of this is that you have ultimate control of your brand, the direction of your company, you know, how it looks and all that stuff, how you market it. But the downside is there is that massive learning curve, especially if you're a team of one. So, you know, it's like this guy here wearing many hats. And again, you've probably got considerable startup costs. You know, think about if it's a product business, you know, you're going to actually have to, you know, buy your products in bulk or manufacture your products. Or, you know, if you're a service-based business servicing a local area, then think about, you know, what is the reach and how many hours have you got available to actually devote to this business? Are you actually going to be employing other people, or are you doing it all yourself? Think of, you know, come back to that passive income. Is this active or passive income? And of course, you know, your customers are limited by your geographical area. So then we look at a slightly different model, and this is called multi-level marketing. And probably most of you out there have come across this model in some form or another. It's been around for a very long time. And basically the you know, maybe you've heard this idea of, oh, it's a pyramid scheme. The actual, you know, and a lot of people say, is this a scam? What is all this stuff? You know, it's a pyramid scheme, and it's illegal when there is no product involved. But when it's a legitimate business and there is a product, a valuable product that you're selling, it is actually legal. So if you're reselling a product, but at the same time there's an associated business opportunity, then that is a multi-level marketing model. So basically, you're building a team, and you know, as you're adding people to your team, they're also doing the same thing. And the idea is it's a compounding effect. So advantages, taking advantage of leverage. I mean, that's huge, because, you know, it's not just you. And also the startup cost is small. A lot of these companies do have an initial investment. It might be, you know, some hundreds of dollars, and there could be ongoing monthly fees as well. And, you know, obviously the idea is to move beyond the initial fees to then actually make back your money and build a substantial business. But there are disadvantages as well. And you do have to be honest with yourself, and that is, team building does take time. It's not an overnight, you know, instant income replacement. So, you know, you will see some sales pitches out there and you think, wow, you know, this has got some amazing potential. But there is the harsh reality of it all is that it's, you know, it's a long haul game. It doesn't happen overnight. So, yeah, I've had a little bit of experience with multi-level marketing, and Michael has too. Is there anything you wanted to add to this section?
You know, I do. I don't want to make it too long, though. Let's really quickly, I guess.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah. There's so much to it. Long story short, MLM does work. This is what I do want to say. It does work. The reason why people call it a scam and that people quit doing it is because people give up working towards the goal. And they often give up because they just don't know what they're doing, because they're not on a strong team who knows how to help them. And then there's just so many pieces that it could be really confusing. Just know that it does actually work when you find a good one. good ones, Amway, Mary Kay, Avon, Beachbody. Those are all really good. And there's other ones, Isogenics and ones where the travel and stuff. They all work. They're just more challenging than people present.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so that's all I really want to throw in with that for now.
Okay, that's awesome. And I suppose the thing that I want to state was, I think at the end of the day, the key thing is you've got to be on board with the product. You must love the product. You must fall in love with the product. And to be honest, like, I've been pitched with Amway in the past, and I'm like, oh, but seriously, I can't get excited about laundry powder. Like, it's not for me. So product is key. I'm going to leave it at that. This is a whole nother discussion. Affiliate marketing, I think, if you're just getting started, then affiliate marketing might be an easier solution for you, because you're not having to build a team at the same time. So basically, in essence, you're selling a product on behalf of a company, and this is primarily an online strategy. So what happens is you're given a unique tracking ID. So if somebody buys a product, an online product, it's tracked back to you, and then the company will pay you a small commission. And some will pay a, like a small percent of like 5 or 7%, like Amazon, or others will pay much higher, up to 50 to like 70%, which is insane. So it's definitely an interesting strategy and an easier one to get started with. And the way I look at affiliate marketing is, it's like recommending products. So think about products that you would use every day, stuff that you love talking about and that you would honestly recommend to others, regardless of whether or not you would get money from it. So, okay, if you want to see if there's any products that you currently use, whether they've got an affiliate program attached to it, you just Google that product and the word affiliates. And so the strategy behind this is that you can write reviews, you can make recommendations, and for people looking for those products. The advantages: very small startup costs. You've got your typical, online marketing fees that you've got happening generally every month, but we will talk about that at a later stage. Disadvantages: it does take time and there is a learning curve involved in it. But just to give you an example there, one of the products that I love to promote is a meditation product that I use every day. And it's, like, if you write a review, you can get featured in Google. So for example, there, I'm the third result talking about that product. And so that one product alone makes me money pretty much every month. So yeah, that's something to get excited about. But again, I'm not going to go into any great detail right now. It's a strategy you can do alongside with other strategies, like creating your own products. It's not a complete business model in itself. It could be, but we're going to talk about that more. So the other part of the online strategy is the online product businesses. This is where we're talking about creating your own content, where Michael spoke about previously, getting in touch with your passions and your abilities and creating products like ebooks, home study courses, membership sites. The advantages of this is, obviously, you're leveraging your time. So you're creating a product once, but you're then able to sell many copies. The downside to that, of course, is that it requires intensive free time during that startup phase when you're actually creating the content, you're going through the marketing, but you get to that point where it's like, once you've done all that, then it just gets easier and easier. So, and then you've got online service businesses. So this is where we're talking about becoming a freelancer. So if you've got a service that you can provide from your computer, you can sign up for sites like guru.com, upwork.com, or freelancer.com, and you can set up a profile, advertise your skills, and you can basically enter a contract with somebody that wants to hire you, and they can monitor your progress, and you can set an hourly rate or a project-based fee. Excuse me. And this is another way that you can be looking at, making an additional income online. Now, do think about this. If it's a service-based business, you're trading time for money. So this may be a great strategy for you in the short term, but not necessarily the long term. Of course, you can then also provide, promote your services online and do the social media, promotion. You can be blogging and whatnot to talk about the services that you provide. So I just wanted to finish briefly on this idea of, once we've worked out our strategy, we want to keep in the back of our mind that we want multiple passive income generators. So how else can you invest your money? So once you're building up your bucket of funds, you can be doing things like property investing. So flipping property, which Michael's going to give an example shortly, will take more of your time, and that's probably not so much an investment, but then you've got long-term growth, looking for capital growth versus cash flow. You've also got the stock market, where you're either short-term trading or long-term investing again. And another thing you can consider doing is domain trading. And that's buying and selling valuable domains or holding them for the long term. And that's a little bit like getting into property, but doing it online. So buying your .coms, and that's kind of exciting. And it's a whole nother strategy in itself, but it's a way you can enter like the online property market at a significantly cheaper than what you'd pay for a house. So I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to hand back over. So if I go back to my, okay, you probably see me now, and I'm going to hand back to Michael, and he's going to talk about some examples.
Breaker 49er, breaker 49er. I don't know if that's even what they say. I don't know. I keep these freaking. I'm cat sitting at a friend's, and I forgot to bring my microphone with me. So this is what I'm like. Sean must. He's an IT guy. He works in Microsoft. So I'm like, he's got to have something, and he has this. Joel, thank you for covering all that stuff. I really appreciate it. I'm just gonna kind of go right now and just start screen sharing, because it's interesting how all this stuff blends together. Breaker 49er. Wait, can you see my screen? Can you see you?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Me now.
I'm gonna. Can you got it there?
Yeah. Back to me, and I'll shut up so the screen comes to you.
But perfect. You can probably lock it. Oh geez. And I shrunk it. I wanted to hit this button. Okay. All right. So I'm assuming that you're not stopping me because we can see the screen. So last week we covered, the sweet spot where these three areas meet, right? So remember, it's what you love to do, what you're good at, and what someone will pay you to do. Now, I was calling it the dream job, but Joel was not a fan of that. So we came up with
we don't do jobs.
Say what?
We don't do jobs, Michael.
We don't. He's like, no, I don't like that. I don't like it. And that's my try to Australian accent. It fails. I can't do it. But the dream lifestyle design is what we came up with. So it's that perfect spot in the middle. That's what we're encouraging you to tap into. Okay, so we talk often about passive income and active income. Joel just covered a bunch of it. And remember, we covered the 4 stages of competence last week as well. Now remember, most people are in the spot right down here where I have the blue box around it. Unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know is basically what it is. You just don't know because you're comfortable where you're at, although it might be uncomfortable. You're okay of staying there. Just because you don't know that there's a way out of it, and that's what we're bringing over here. So the first example I want to bring to you is a coffee shop. So this is this cute girl over here. This is Emma. I work from this coffee shop often during the week, at least a couple times. And Emma and I hang out, and I kind of teach her some social media things here and there. But anyway, she's got this coffee shop. Now, it's not just her. She's also got an investor. So I was talking to Emma and I was telling her I'm working on this project because she always knows what I'm doing. And I'm like, what's your overhead? So it's about 2,500 a month. So not bad, right? Monthly gross, it's about 3,600. So let's say you take 30% for taxes out of that 3,600, and then that leaves them net 2,520. Now these are approximate because of course it's going to change because it depends on what we're just talking averages here, right? So 25/20, right? Now they have to split that three ways. I'll explain that in 1 second. So 840 split three ways, all right? Because there's the investor, the guy who put the money in up front. He does work like once or twice a week sometimes. The worker, which is Emma in this situation, and the business. Okay, because up front they put in $50,000 to get the space ready. So they split it three ways until that's paid for out of that 840, and then once that's paid for, then they just start splitting it completely. Emma works about 72 hours a week for about $210 before she pays taxes. Joel, does that sound fun to
Oh
you?
my God.
I know that Emma said too, like when we
Sign
broke
me
it
up.
down,
No.
she was like, what am I doing? Because this was my
Yeah.
idea for this coffee shop. But it's such a cute place, so I have faith. So I'm helping her with some social media stuff. Okay, so that was one example. Do you have anything you want to add to that or questions, Joel?
Okay, so we should touch on this at another stage, but I'd love to go into a before and after once you've done your social media work on that.
I would too. I not. I'm kind of like tantalize her here and there because I don't want to just go in and say, like, oh, here, let me tell you what to do, and you're gonna pay me to do this. I'm not doing it. I'm just kind of like I'm coaching her. I'm showing her how to use Twitter better and all this stuff, and then I'm like, we need to get you. I said, bring your computer. We're gonna teach you how to do this properly. So I think it's cool. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Flipping real estate. Now, this is what my parents do. Well, they do bunches of things, but because they also, you were talking about investing. So they also have some that they buy properties and then they hold them. They basically flip them and then they rent them. So they do that as well. And then I think dad also does day trading. He also does consulting. They multitask. They're entrepreneurs. So anyway, flipping real estate. So dad, to purchase a property, he said it's around $36,000, which isn't so bad, right? But then they invest into the property around 28,000. Now it could take 3 to 6 months to do all this work, but it's about $16,000 worth of work that he also adds in there. So when they flip it, they'll probably sell it for around 80 or somewhere in there. So they'll probably walk away with a return after closing costs, whatever those are. They'll walk away with 22,000 ahead. Now that's over a couple months, so they have 2 to 4 projects running all the time. So if you're going to do something like this, I mean, granted, I'm sure you can, get loans and whatnot, but I need to plug in.
Uh-oh.
I know. I'm going to put my headphone down for a second. But anyway, you're going to want like around about $256,000 to do this, that's kind of a high overhead. Now remember Emma's situation, they had 50,000 what they put in up front. So my parents, I mean, granted, it's what 36, 28, so it's those now. It's 64. So they're going to have at least that, but they've got several going to make it work. And then they're doing all the work. They're all the construction, the wiring, the design, most installations and painting, stuff like that. So as you can see, that's going to be a lot of work and it's going to be a lot of money. And I'm going to talk about this guy, Jermaine, next because Jermaine is one of my coaches. Hold on 1 second. Joel, can you touch while I'm plugging in? Can you touch base about how we both use mentors and we use coaches like sports team and stuff like that?
Yeah, exactly. Look, I think it's really important that, you know, regardless of where we are on our journey, we always need somebody to basically hold our hand and to kind of go, well, where are we at right now, and where is our where are we headed? Basically, where are we headed? And I think the key thing that we want to point out that regardless of whether you're in a job, you're in a successful business, regardless of what level you're at, you want to have a coach because there's always the next level. Don't you agree, Michael?
I do, and I'm back.
He's back.
So That being said, you guys, these two guys here, the guy with the yellow arrows pointing at him, that's Jermaine, and Jermaine's really cool. The guy to his right is a Jermaine coaches him as well. And let's just put it this way: within this last year, the guy to the right there, he's made about $500,000. I'm just leaving it right there. Okay, so let's talk about Jermaine. So Jermaine, and I was talking to him today. So I was like, oh, let me ask you these quick questions because I'm doing this and I want to include you in this. So anyway, he was working this job for 15 years and he was making around 70,000 a year, which is fine, right? So during that last year, that 15th year, he's like, you know what? Let me start self-educating myself about online MLMs. He was also doing, all these things that Joel was talking about, like affiliate products, and then he was just kind of researching all this stuff, and he was starting to practice it and go through the grind and the struggles and the failing forward, if you will, because when you're figuring something out, it's kind of like a baby. If you can, you think of a baby like trying to walk for the first time, they stand up and they fall, and they stand up and they fall, and everyone is like, oh no, you can do it, and the baby stands up and it falls, and then finally it like pulls itself up on the coffee table and it stays standing, and everybody's like, yay, you're standing, right? Because everybody's encouraging the baby because they know the baby can walk. Well, then that baby starts to edge around the coffee table, right? So now the baby's kind of like walking, and then it goes to walk for the first time and it takes a step and it falls. And then what does the baby do? It gets up again and it starts all over. And it does this and it does this and it does this and does this. And finally, I mean, we're all walking, right? We're all walking. And matter of fact, we can run, we can skip rope, that's what's going on here when you're learning how to do a new skill such as online, which is, the key is just getting started. Anyway, during the 15th year where he was doing all this stuff, they laid him off. So he was an employee for 15 years and they laid him off because you know what? When it comes down to it, the bottom line is it's their business and they're going to do what they want. So he's on his own. Right. So it's a good thing he was doing this other stuff because he had to make MLM and affiliate marketing work. The nice thing is you can use affiliate marketing to build a list, an email list. When you put your email into something, you can use that to build lists, build relationships, build trust, and then you can bring those people over to MLM. And that's something we can always come back into later. So affiliate marketing actually is really great, like Joel was talking about earlier. Anyway, now it's been 5 years later. And I want to tell you a little about Jermaine now. Okay, in this last year, his lowest month was $11,000. That was his lowest month because he's consistently grossing between $18,000 and $20,000 a month. What? 18 to 20,000 a month, and he was making 70 a year. Do you see the difference there? Right. It gets worse. Well, better, but worse if you're a person who's going, oh my gosh, I need to figure this out. His best month to date is $33,000, and this month he's slated to make 50. Okay, 50,000, not
That's pretty
$50.
cool.
Really cool, right? Okay, so in the beginning when he was doing all this stuff, back up when he started, he was probably paying about $500 a month, between the tools, because you want to use, there's certain tools you want to have. So between around $500 a month, because you get the tools, and there's also like some paid marketing, but you can do it on the cheap. You can do paid marketing on the cheap. Okay, and then his current overhead is around $2,000 to $4,000 a month, but of course he's making a lot more, so he can spend a lot more on advertising. Here's the part, folks, where it gets kind of crazy. Now remember, he was working. This is the kind of job that's where he's making $70,000 a year. He's working a 40-hour work week, so it's at least 8 hours a day, right? Now, making the money that I'm talking about here, between 18 and basically 33,000 a month, and like this month's gonna be 50. He's working 4 to 6 hours a day, Monday through Thursday, most of the time, and he says a lot of times every other day he only works about 30 minutes. Joel, what do you think about that?
I think most people could handle that. I think
I
most people could handle that.
Right, but the key is you got to get through the beginning part. You have to be like that baby learning to walk, and you got to be willing to learn how to walk. And the challenge here is when you're a baby and you're learning to walk, everybody knows you can walk. When you're a kid learning to ride a bike, everybody knows you can ride a bike. And it's scary for you, but everyone's encouraging you. When you grow up, those people who encourage you have been discouraged and have failed, and everybody's in fear of failing themselves. So they think you're going to fail, and they don't want you to fail because they quote unquote care about you. So they don't want you to do things that's different from them. So you're not going to have the support if you're just with your friends and family, because they don't understand. That's where having a group like the Gay Entrepreneurs Network is great for you, because we're here to say you can do this. We'll help you through the steps. We'll show you the way you can do it. If you're on a budget, we'll show you the way you can do it on a budget. So that's cool. These books that we're talking about, what's your what, start with why, like anything that we've been talking about in this series that we're doing right now, this stuff is going to help you get into the mindset so that you can do what Jermaine is doing, right? And you have us to work with. So that is that, because now think about it. We're going to go back to the 4 stages of competence. You already know that there's stuff you don't know, and now we're sharing it with you. So you're like, crap, there is more, and I can do this, but it's going to be a challenge. And am I willing to deal with the challenge? If you're not willing to deal with the challenge, then you might as well be happy with where you're at and don't ever bitch about your job or life again. I know that was blunt for me to say, but that's how Michael Leedy rolls. If you're going to be the person who complains all the time about where you're at, then, and this stuff that we're sharing, then you're kind of like stuck. It's like, better. But if you're going to do something about it, and it hurts and it's painful because you're learning something new, then I respect that, because you know what? I've gone through it too. Because listen, it takes roughly 10,000 hours of practice to achieve mastery in a field. Not 1 hour, but 10,000, right? And so if you don't start now, when are you going to start? Because time is on your side only if you start something. And that lays out my slides there. Let me go back to get the screen on my face. Joel, how
There
was
I
that?
am. Hey, Michael, that is awesome, and that really sums it all up. And I think the next step really is to hand it back over to you and say, so what is your what? So that you can, if you're ready to take action, we can help you on that journey. But I was going to remind you about something, Michael, and yeah, what was that? Before we close up.
Well, before we close up, guys, listen, we've covered it all, the basics. Just touching on the social media and the internet stuff. So think of these online businesses. They need traffic to get to the business. For example, I'm going to be working with Emma on her business. I'm putting a proposal together. He owns a bed and breakfast. My mom actually runs it, so he owns that. And I was telling him about this fashion client that I'm working on right now, and working with their social media, right, to get their Twitter and their Instagram and their Pinterest, like get all that in order. All of this online stuff, it's kind of still new. So if you're looking for something that's not, saturated, that you can do from anywhere, as long as you have internet, guess what? You're in it right now. And that's what we're encouraging you to take up on. These books, get the books like What's Your What. It's going to help you figure out what's your what, because you know what it is. You just might be afraid to tap into it. Joel put some resources into last week's training as well. We've got resources in all the trainings. We've got exercises in all the trainings. Below this, there's 2 things. There's one where if you click on it, it's going to go to Facebook and comment, say, oh my gosh, this was so great, I got this from it. Tell us what you got out of it. And if you have questions or thoughts about what's in this video, then that goes at the very bottom, right below the video where you're watching it, because that's where we can have these private discussions inside of the forums. It's for us, you guys. And it's all about helping everyone create the success they're looking for. You may have a business, you may not. If you don't, then that's why we gave you these basic steps. If you do, we will be doing marketing like tips and social media. Let us know what you're using. Let us know what you want help on, and we'll start tapping into that too. And I think that's it, Joel.
All right. Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's pretty much it. Do we want to talk about what's coming, or I think we could leave it on a cliffhanger?
Well, we should leave it on a cliffhanger a little bit, but what we really want to do is hear from you guys. We want to know what you want to know next. We want to know that you got what is your what, And start with why, and that you're working on yourself, and that you're ready to start going, because you're ready to start now. Because if you don't start now and you start next year, guess what? You are a lot of hours behind on yourself, and it's your own fault. I'm sorry, I'm being kind of pushy today, Joel.
Oh, you are. He has attitude.
It's this thing. I feel like I'm controlling like all the airports or something. I just want everyone to be successful, and I know that in the beginning it's a learning curve, and the only way to get over it is to start, because we did it. Joel and I did it. You know what I mean? So it's like, we know we're here to help you make it more simple. Anyway, I have something to grill, and we're at 40 minutes.
We're at 40 minutes. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up. But it is so good to see Michael's passion, and I'm totally passionate as well to for us to sort of hold your hand, and also for us to all help each other on this journey towards our financial freedom and working towards our overall big whys. So all right, let's leave it there. I'm Joel Ennersley, and on behalf of Michael Leedy, we are here to remind you that when you feel like you're going it alone, you're really only 2 clicks away to your community of like-minded people, and that is the Gay Entrepreneurs Network. So have a great day, and remember that each day opens with a brand new page.